Dude, what are you doing?
Still just didn't make the playoffs, dude. I'm on vacation.
Good afternoon, football fans, and welcome to this wild card edition of the Trajan Temple Sportcast. I am your host, professional wrestler and Kansas City Chiefs fanatic. That is first place in the AFC. Kansas City Chiefs fanatic Christian Temple, joined alongside as always by my good friend, the never losing, never not working, but still not making the playoffs, Trajan. How are we doing this fine week, sir?
I mean, what am I kidding? I didn't think we were really going to get to the playoffs this year, especially after the 2-6 point there.
ah,
But uh, but hey, it it was better than I thought it was going to be.
it's like, come on, you had to have a little bit of hope going into week 18, right?
I did, especially when I saw New England was losing. Miami was tied at that point, and we were winning, but it just wasn't meant to be, man.
Once again, Joe Flacco comes in to destroy Pittsburgh Steeler fans' dreams. It just never fails. Old habits die hard with him, it seems like.
It does. I mean, what is up with this dude?
What is up with this dude? Well, more on him later. Let's start with the clear and obvious here too, and that is the sweep of how about those Chiefs going into Arrowhead West and taking care of business against the Vegas Raiders. Final score of 31-13. It was definitely one of the more complete games that they played, which, my goodness, the last several weeks of nail biters, it felt really good to win this week. You know, we had
Yeah,
everything. Everyone was firing on all cylinders. Offense did awesome. Defense did amazing. You know, hey, special teams. Butker was on his game this week too. I mean, what could be better? What better way to go into the bye week of the wild card round than with a win over the redheaded stepchild of the AFC West, the Las Vegas Raiders. Um, it's funny enough. Patrick Mahomes, pretty good
hmm
numbers, but he only ended up with 202 passing yards.
he
But
didn't
that
play the whole game.
but that was enough. That was enough. He now owns the NFL record for the most total offense for a player in a single season. He has surpassed Drew Brees, and I knew that 6 yard reception to himself would be the difference maker in that.
Uh, yeah,
Um, yeah, and once again, spreading the ball around like he does. We'll start with the rushing though. Isaiah Pacheco, ending the day with 8 rushes for 64 yards, 8 yards per attempt, not bad at all.
was
Rushing touchdown for him, a rushing touchdown for Ronald Jones, a rushing touchdown for Kadarius Toney, and it wasn't it was the play after one of the wackiest plays I could remember for quite a while. The snow globe is what they called that huddle. They all join together, arms around each other, a ring around the rosy, get it right into position. Uh, Direct snap to Jerick McKinnon, pitches it quarterback style to Patrick Mahomes, takes a few steps, stops, turns, throws it back to Kadarius Toney. He's got a wall of linemen in front of him and gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City. But wait. Holding on the offense. It wasn't a 10-yard penalty. It was a 10 yards from the spot of the foul, so it was only a 5 yard loss. And I can almost guarantee that Pat Mahomes in the huddle looked over at Kadarius Toney and says, "Damn it, I'm gonna get you a touchdown this play." very, very much so. The next play, jet sweep. Kadarius Toney makes one man miss, gets tackled kind of around the neck there, but breaks the plane, crosses over the pylon, touchdown, Kansas City. And also Jerick McKinnon keeping that regular season streak, extending it with another receiving touchdown. It's just you, you, you can't take your eye off Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't matter if he looks like he's running towards the pylon. He is still looking downfield, and he will find you. He will
yeah,
find an open receiver, and McKinnon had just enough room. It was just dink
yep.
right by the goal line, And yeah, as far as the defense is concerned, what a day for Chris Jones, tying his single season personal best. He had 2.5 sacks this week, which I think tied. I think it was. I can't remember if it was 15.5 or 16.5 sacks, which is his most he had in a single season. Sacked by George Karlaftis. Justin Reed got a sack. Mike Dana getting 2 more sacks. So another depth guy stepping up when we needed him to. And also forcing two fumbles in both of those sacks. Juan Thornhill with the interception, and as I mentioned, Harrison Butker only really had to call on him once for a field goal, 1 for 44, but perfect as far as extra points are concerned. Yeah, this was a great send off for Derek Carr. Oh wait, he wasn't playing. Well,
No,
so,
no.
but it's okay because Tom Brady's coming to the Raiders, right? That's that's the latest rumor going on, and that
And Aaron Rodgers was going to the Steelers last year. Um,
exactly.
oh, I mean, it could happen, I guess. I don't know. So, excuse me for not being so excited for your game. Hats off to you and your team going to the playoffs yet again, taking over a weak division. Um, I could go on, but I won't.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I think there's something else you would like to talk about too. Before we get to the bad stuff, we'll talk about the good stuff for you too.
The good stuff, there are good stuff to talk about. We went on definitely a winning stride towards the playoffs there. We beat the Raiders. Then we go ahead and beat the Ravens last minute. Mike Tomlin, you could hear him saying Kenny fucking Pickett, so that's pretty awesome. Um, and then we go and just demolish the Browns. Um, Overall this year, 9-8. I just can't say enough for Tomlin. I mean, holy cow, taking a team that's 2-6, keeping that locker room together because you got all these different personalities, especially on the defensive side of the ball. There's people there that are veterans that want to get a Super Bowl, that want to get the playoffs, not going and turning against your offense like Denver. Um, I mean, just keeping that locker room together and making them improve. I really think we have a shot next year. TJ Watt, of course, was injured most of the year. That's a huge difference maker for our defense. We need to get him some help. So if he goes down, yeah, it's a blow, but uh, we can still survive. So, so yeah, no, I think we're in a positive state. I think the rebuild that we're supposedly going through is not a rebuild at all. It's just kind of a little skid, and we're much farther in the process than anyone thought.
No, you're right. There's definitely a lot to be excited for if you're a Steelers fan. I mean, even just looking at the stats from this game. I mean, Najee Harris, another solid performance. You got George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Frymouth. He was injured this week. Was that what I understood? Or
No, he was there.
oh,
I think
okay.
he got injured in the game, but he suffered a sprain in the win. But he
But
got targeted.
nevertheless,
Yeah.
but nevertheless, the weapons you have on offense, it's a lot of promise to look forward to, and obviously your guys' defense is always something that has been a staple with the Steelers at least for the last 4 or 5 years. So as far as being hopeful for next season, obviously a lot's up in the air for Baltimore. Who knows what's going to happen if the coaching staff will stay intact or if Lamar Jackson will stay there. Cincinnati, I mean, yeah, they're strong contender for the North, and we really haven't seen what all Deshaun Watson can do with a fully healthy Browns team. So there's a lot to be excited for next year for the AFC North in general. But yeah, I if I'm a Steelers fan, I'm excited for the challenge, and I really think as long as they keep building around Kenny Pickett, we could see a new AFC North champion next year. Never know.
Dare I say dynasty?
There we go. We're going back to the 70s,
We're going
baby.
to the Super Bowl. Uh,
Alrighty. Well,
yeah, no,
now I'll let you have the opportunity. Any more closing thoughts regarding this season for Pittsburgh? You kind of given us the hope. What are some I guess not necessarily regrets, but some stuff you wish could have been a little bit better.
regrets. There's a lot of regrets. Specifically, 8 regrets. Having spent my time watching the Bills game,
Mm.
that was pretty sad. Philly was another sad game, but not beating the Patriots. We should have beat the
Oh,
Patriots. I think
yeah.
if Kenny Pickett was in, we would have beat him.
Hmm.
Miami, we should have beat Miami. Once again, if Kenny Pickett was in, not concussed, I don't know. But Tua wasn't playing either. He was concussed too. So,
Hmm.
um, I just there was games we should have had. Specifically, the biggest one is the Ravens game where we threw 3 in zone, red zone interceptions and a missed field goal, and all we needed was one field goal to win. So that one hurt. I will say that one hurt. But you know, as far as everything went there, I'm pretty happy with the result. We got the 17th round pick in the draft, which we will be at.
Yes. So I'm
Um,
I'm pumped.
and it's great to see all the Denver picks that will be in that first round. Wait. So, I mean,
Anytime we can dunk on Denver, it's always a good time.
I know. I mean, who would have thought that we would have had a better record than Denver? At the beginning of the season, the storyline was AFC West is so jacked with stacked with players. Um, Everyone else should be scared. And I think it's just more of the same. The Chiefs' dominance, a strong AFC North. Bills are going to be strong for a long time. The surprise may have been how strong the East is. Um, I mean, with the Jets being basically a quarterback away, and it might be a destination for Derek Carr.
All four teams up until a week's 16 or 17 were very capable of taking a playoff spot.
And the Titans just totally destroying,
Ooh,
self-destructing.
what a collapse! Oh my gosh.
The
I I
division was yours, and
I
you
texted my friend Colton, who is a big Titans fan, and I told him, I said, I'm sure making the playoffs would have been nice, but at least Todd Downing is finally gone. And he agreed with me. He said it's like, yes, that needed to happen a long time ago, but he's glad it finally has. All right. Well, that is the end officially of the regular season. But we're gonna take one last look back at the regular season here with the schedule predictions that we had made uh, at the beginning of the year. It was about the middle of the preseason, I'm pretty sure, or towards the last week of preseason. I
yeah.
can't remember for sure, but yeah, you'd be surprised. We were kind of accurate in one
We're
one
close.
way or another.
Yeah, I'd say I got more right than I got wrong.
Well, I mean, I've seen uglier predictions.
Yeah, yeah. There's been better, there's been worse.
I do have to commend you though, Trajan. You did successfully pick a 14-3 record. It's just unfortunate you couldn't have flipped it from one side of the columns to the other.
I did predict the Raiders record, 6-11, right?
Yes, you did, but that was not what was asked of you
Oh,
to make that prediction. Maybe next year. We could actually we might check on our other predictions for other teams at a later date. 'Cause we need to get Skate 3 Tommy back on here to check out to so he can reminisce on his predictions too. But regarding the Kansas City Chiefs prediction, I was one game off. I was thinking to myself, I was like, did I say they were going to go 14-3? I couldn't remember for sure, and then I looked back and saw, I said 13-4. Which I'm glad I was wrong about, because that would have most likely gotten them second place and not the first round bye. The only loss I guessed correctly was Week 6 against the Buffalo Bills. Never did I imagine that the Colts would be a reason for one of our losses, and the Bengals, that was just me blinded by my rage from the AFC Championship game, and they once again proved me wrong. But one thing I'm glad I was wrong about, the AFC West has been swept. The Chargers, the Raiders, and the Broncos all brushed by the wayside by Pat Mahomes and company, and that's always a good feeling when the division is conquered by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, you've been handling them pretty well. Very well.
Very, very well. I wonder if they saw your record predictions, seeing that we were going to lose every single. Oh no! You had us win against the Broncos. Okay, have us lose every single divisional matchup except for one.
Yes, I may have been a little petty and willing something into existence. But yeah, I'll stand by my picks. They were good picks at the time.
They felt right, right?
They felt right.
Alrighty. Well, I am pretty proud of myself because I actually predicted almost perfectly the exact record for you guys at 9-8. And actually, what I want to do, I need to pull up the Steelers' actual schedule because I want to see which ones I had flip-flopped, because there's some of them that were almost perfect, but
I mean, Bengals, that should have been a win. Then loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. Wait, no. Loss, win.
Yep.
So, yeah. After the bye week, we went 7-2.
Right, yep. That's the deal. I had you guys after the bye week 5-4. So I had you winning more games towards the beginning, so.
Yeah.
But here's what's crazy about yours outside of the Bills game. How many of these and the Eagles, there are so many of these games where your losses only came by one possession.
I know. I mean, there's a lot of this that just stuff went our way. We probably would have been in the playoffs. And I feel like we were a team on the rise, Instead of that one year where we went undefeated the first part and then started losing, it felt like we're collapsing. This time, it felt like we were on the rise. We could take on people.
Well, you know what? I guess as far as reasons as to that, could you put them more on Mitch Trubisky or should you put it more on Matt Canada? I guess that's an argument that could be made in either scenario. But it's definitely nice seeing Kenny Pickett grow in his own way. And I suppose the experience this year, even without playoffs, was definitely invaluable in his case.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he's got a taste of NFL football. He knows what he needs to improve on. We're only going to get better. Generally, the Steelers, I mean, we don't go for the worst. So
generally, there we go.
Generally, I mean, we don't think about the 80s. We push that aside.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk.
Alrighty. Well, just a little sneak peek here too. Yes, these are all the predictions we made based against the USA Today predictions of all of the teams in the NFL. And yes, we will have our friend Skate 3 Tommy back to go over what we all thought back then with our higher or lower or agreeds. And obviously, my prediction of higher for Kansas City and the agreed with the 9-8. So how about that? The USA Today actually guessed your guys' record correctly too. Amazing, right? We shall look back with that some fondly, some not so fondly. I'm sure Tommy will be really happy to see that his Giants are in fact not 5-12, even though he said himself that they were going to be lower than that. And I had faith. I believed in Danny Dimes. I believed in him. he was able to lead this team to a playoff berth, unlike the
Let's
Washington Commies.
let's just say you were probably thinking like 6-11 higher.
Well, semantics. We won't bring that up, but well, that's enough of those predictions. Now it's time for a totally different type of prediction. But before we do that, it is time for the final week of locks, upsets, and high rollers. And before we bring up the scoreboard, full disclaimer here, as a lot of you have noticed, there was not a show last week. For the obvious reason, we were not sure what the circumstances were going to be regarding Damar Hamlin's health, and it honestly it almost didn't feel right to talk anything about football while his at that time it seemed like his life was hanging in the balance. But as of today, we're recording this on a Wednesday. He has been flown back to Buffalo, and actually he has been checked out of Buffalo Hospital. He is back home doing rehab, and he's back with his family. So honestly, our prayers and well thoughts are still with him, and we're glad that they helped him through in this in that very trying time for him too, especially for the entire Bills organization. And yes, that is an amazing story, and both of us couldn't be happier to have him back. Not quite at full health yet, but definitely on the rise. And who knows if I don't want to speak if that's not his in the cards for him, but it would be amazing to maybe see him back on the field one day.
Oh yeah, just like Alex Smith and all of these players that amazingly came back to the field. That'd be pretty incredible. But we'll see what life has in store for him.
Absolutely. Alrighty, but going off of our Week 17 picks, as you can see by the scoreboard right here, but bam. Oh, wait, hold on. Your score's not working there. Well, and there is a reason for that, because one of the games that was chosen by Trajan was not completed, and that was the aforementioned Bills and a Bengals game. So we have an option here. My score is correct at 22. Trajan has an opportunity here. We are going to give him the option, much like the NFL is going to give the Bengals the option, of a coin flip. So we shall go heads. He will be at 16 points. Tails at 15 points. And we're using the honor system here too. He has shown me the coin. So we shall see what it falls to. So Trajan, at this point, floor is yours. Give her a flip.
It is heads.
It is heads. We have the extra point is good. All right. Well, let's try this again. As you can see by the scoreboard here, ba-bam. Trajan is back within 6. So now is the fun part, because with locks, upsets, and high rollers, obviously we each picked a game in each category. But since it's the playoffs, it's time to change things up a little bit. So what we are going to do now, I am going to flip on over to the wild card matchups that are forthcoming this weekend here. So we shall both pick the who we predict will win the game, but obviously there are some matchups where it would be almost foolish to pick the other team. So what we are going to do to add this up, and we will do this throughout the playoffs, Trajan will read the over-under for each game, and he shall pick whichever he thinks, whether it's over-under, and I shall do the same. So we shall begin with the Seattle Seahawks traveling to Santa Clara, taking on the San Francisco 49ers. And I'll probably speak for you in this case, Trajan. I believe these 49ers are going to win this game.
You don't have faith in Seattle? Neither do I.
It would be the shock of the playoff. Well, okay, no, that would not be the shock of the playoffs, but it would be one of the shocks of the playoffs if that was the case.
Yep, and I'm choosing the over on this one.
Choosing the over. One more time. What was the over under?
42.5 is the over under. I think both of them can score over 20 points, I think it's possible.
Alrighty. Well, I could definitely see that too, especially with the high-powered offense of the 49ers, but I'm looking more towards both defenses in
Hmm.
this particular matchup. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than people will admit. I still think the 49ers are going to win. I will take the under gladly on this one.
Ooh. All right.
All right, and moving on to the Saturday night game, pitting the wild card of the Los Angeles Chargers and the newly crowned AFC South champions, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who do you like more in this one? It's interesting. The division winner has a one win less than the wild card team.
But Jacksonville beat the Chargers.
Oh, that's right. That is correct.
So the over under on this game is 47.5. They see this being a higher scoring game. Um, I'm going with the Chargers, but I'm going to go with the under.
You are going with the Chargers. All right, and you say the under. All right. Well, I'm going to agree with you, not on the team, but on the under. I am going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jags.
I just here's the deal. The Chargers, after seeing their performance against Denver, I don't know how inspired they're going to be, whereas the Jaguars are riding on a high that they have not seen since Saxonville against a certain Pittsburgh team in the playoffs. So
Down.
we shall see what Doug Peterson has in store for Brandon Staley. It's going to be a fun game no matter what. I can see it being close, but I agree. I think they'll both be under. It'll be a defensive struggle, but I say go Jags on this one.
You know, it would be awesome if the Jags just take it all the way.
You don't mean that. You hate them.
Trevor Lawrence is a golden god.
to the people of Duval, he definitely is. All right, moving on to the wild card Dolphins taking on the Buffalo Bills on noon Sunday, January 15th. I think we're pretty unanimous with picking the Buffalo Bills. What do we got for the over-under that?
So this one hurts especially because this is the game that we would be in. But the 43.5 is the over-under. And definitely choosing the Bills on this one. If Tua is in, maybe a different story. But no.
You're going the under on this one.
I'm going the under.
You're going the under. You know what? It might just be so bad. I'm going to take the over because it might be 42-0.
That's true.
What was it again? You said it was 42.5?
43.5.
43.5. It'll be 45-0. Buffalo. Well, what was the game? The Jags and Dolphins. It was like Marino's last game was the wild card. It was like 63-7.
Yes.
This might be a repeat of that, but against the Dolphins.
That would, oh my gosh, that would be a total beatdown. But moving on, who we got next?
We got the Giants and the Vikings.
Ooh, so this one is especially hard for me. The over-under is 48.
Oh, man.
And Vikings, they kind of feel like how the Steelers did that one year when we went 11-0. They've been dominant, but in their losses, they've been brutal. They've been just absolutely back-crushing losses.
They're currently sitting at -3 on point differential.
Yes.
With a 13-4 record.
It's just crazy. So I am going to go ahead and roll the dice and say Minnesota.
There you go.
And I'm going to say the over because they like to score a lot of points with no defense.
There we go. Well, for that exact reason of no defense, I don't know if the Giants are going to keep it competitive or not. I'm going to stick with Minnesota too. However, 48.5, man, that seems kind of a lot. I'll go with the under on this one. I think it'll be a little bit closer. It'll be a defensive struggle because both offenses will just be so inept, tripped over themselves. There's a reason the Vikings are -3 in the point differentials because They either give up a lot of points or they don't know how to score a lot of points. So I think the Minnesota Vikings will most likely win on a last second field goal. The Giants will fight valiantly, but 48.5 points, I think I'm going to take the under on this one.
All right. So we move on to Cincinnati Bengals versus Baltimore Ravens. And the over-under on that one's 41.5. So have we heard if Lamar's going to be in this game?
It is not looking good. Apparently he has been moved to doubtful. Last I saw. So I guess we shall find out for sure. Probably closer to Friday, whether or not that's going to be the case or not. But the signs are not pointing to a good outcome.
Yeah, and so Bengals will definitely be my choice on that one.
Easily.
And I'm going under. I just haven't seen a lot of promise from. Oh, it's 41.5, by the way. I haven't seen a lot of promise from the Ravens. The only way they get to the over is if the Bengals just absolutely crush them and run up the score.
And this is the only game where you and I agree unanimously on everything. Cincinnati for the win, and yeah, I agree with the under. If it was confirmed Lamar was going to play, yeah, I might say probably go for the over, but I just don't see it happening. I think Cincinnati will comfortably go up 2 or 3 scores, probably go into cruise control and just walk away from the Ravens and move on to the next round with ease.
Yeah. Which leads us to the final game of the
main events, man. The one everyone's been waiting for.
Tampa Bay, Tom Brady versus the Dallas Cowboys. The losing record team.
Oh my God.
That won its division versus the Dallas Cowboys, who could have possibly won their division if the Eagles just weren't that strong.
Yep.
It's 45.5 on this one. And you ready for this?
Oh.
I got Tampa Bay.
Wow. All right. So
Tampa Bay.
Tom Brady is going to go 8-0 over the Dallas Cowboys. Oh man. Yep. I honestly cannot believe that's actually his record against Dallas. I figured he would have dropped at least one, but nope, sure enough. He is 8-0 against the Dallas Cowboys. But man, I don't believe in that offensive line that's just been a revolving door for Tampa Bay. The Dallas defense, I think this will be the week that they wake up and they're just going to feast all over Tom Brady's corpse and send him to Vegas. I hate it because I'm picking between two evils here. I think Dallas will conquer their wild card playoff demons in order to be destroyed in the divisional round. We'll give them their playoff win. What did you say over under on this one?
So over under, it doesn't really matter since we're choosing different ones, but it's 45.5.
And what are you thinking?
I'm thinking they're going to do under.
I would probably agree with that, honestly. But yep, this is two games where we have picked the opposite opponents. So it's going to be interesting because there are scenarios where Trajan could take the lead this week in locks, upsets, and high rollers. So it's going to be an interesting week of football and an interesting week of our guesses here. Who knows? Maybe I'll just pull ahead and I'll just drown him in points.
Possibly. It's possible.
Alrighty. Well, regarding the Chiefs' playoff future here, obviously they get the bye week. Their 4 possible opponents are the Dolphins, the Ravens, the Jaguars, or the Chargers. My guess is they'll probably end up playing the Chargers or the Jaguars, most likely, because as we mentioned earlier, Dolphins are going to get just their ass completely reamed unmercilessly by the smiling face of Josh Allen. And obviously with the Ravens without Lamar Jackson, I mean, their offensive coordinators kind of drug them down as is. So
Hmm.
Having your one bright spot of Lamar Jackson not being there, it's not going to get any better for them too. So definitely be looking forward to watching the Saturday night Chargers Jags game, anticipating who our next opponent might be. Any closing thoughts of the regular season for the Trajan Temple Sportcast, Trajan?
Um, no, my only wish was that you'd had to play the Bengals, then the Bills back to back.
Well, it sounds like it will either be one or the other, unless we are upset in the divisional round, which would absolutely kill me if it was the LA Chargers, because then the sweep just goes out the window right there.
What if it was the Jaguars? Which would you be hurt more on?
Well, that's the deal. It's a double-edged sword because you hate losing to a division rival in the playoffs. You would attest to that from a couple years ago. At the same time, then I can't stop talking about Blake Bortles and the Jaguars beating Pittsburgh in the in the divisional round anymore. So, it's a double-edged sword. Just gotta focus on winning. That's what they need to do.
Winning's the key.
Winning is the key here too. Alrighty. Well, that is our show. That wraps up the regular season reporting from us at the Trajan Temple Sportcast. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. We hope you enjoy the wild card round alongside with us, and we will be back next week with our divisional round report, as well as the updates to our selections in locks, upsets, and high rollers, which I guess is that name's kind of a moot point at this point because it's kind of locks and overs and unders at this point. So I don't know. Who knows? We might figure out a name for it later. But thank you, everybody, so much for watching. Click like if you liked the video. Click subscribe if you really enjoyed it. My goodness, easy for me to say, right? Tell all of your friends, and we will see you all next week. And don't get eliminated.
Please do.